Cenk Uygur was recently on Chris Cuomo's primetime in order to talk about his run for California's 25th Congressional District in order to replace Katie Hill. Now, the interesting thing about this is, I mean, as far as interviews go, it wasn't too bad. I think it was pretty good. I think Chris, I mean, he asked him tough questions, but he asked him the kinds of things which, people are talking about. But I think actually that is the very issue, and that's why I think this clip is interesting, and I want you to watch it because the thing which people are talking about are the things which the corporate Democrats and the establishment Democrats want us to be talking about in order to I think, distract us from actually talking about the real issues, which Cenk is trying to bring up, but which, he can't because corporate media has their own agenda, their own things that they want to talk about. So let's take a look at this video and maybe you'll see what I mean.
So first of all, I'm going to prove that this mythology that progressives can't win in purple districts is totally wrong. We represent the voters way better. So for example, strong progressives run uncorrupted. So I'm going to run against bribery. All the corporate campaign contributions are bribes. That's what they are. And you know what? Democrats know that, but Republicans know that as well. That's part of the reason that Trump won. He said, drain the swamp. People hate the corruption, and progressives are clearly against corruption. When the Nancy Pelosi's of the world say, no, and we've got to run as corporate Democrats in purple districts, who are they trying to appeal to? The people in 25th District don't want big corporations running them. They've been screwed by that.
What about the you're not us?
Yes, so I'm going to move to the district, and it's a fair point. Hey, they say you got to come here to represent me. That's right. My wife's a saint. She's got a job near where we live now, but she said, yes, we're willing to move. So I can't wait to go there. It's a wonderful community. I've been all over the district. I love it. Can't wait to move. And you have to think about it this way, Chris. Who do you want? Someone that is going to move in a couple of months and agrees with you completely, or someone who doesn't agree with you at all and happens to be there right now?
All right, let's see if you can sell the people. Now there's going to be character analysis. You're not a commentator anymore. You're a candidate. You've written things in the past that were ugly. You've said they were insensitive and stupid. People say, nah, you're doing it out of convenience now. You said misogynistic things. You want to run as a far-left candidate. They want to protect women's empowerment. You are the enemy.
So first of all, I wrote that stuff 19 years ago. I deleted it 15 years ago, not because I got caught or because I thought somebody was going to find it. I deleted it because I didn't believe it anymore. So I'm not one of those guys who found Jesus on the way to, oh my God, I got caught. No. I said, this is not me. I was trying to be a stupid, politically incorrect Republican. So I wrote these things that I knew were offensive. And so when I saw it with my eyes again, I was like, no, I'm getting rid of these. The right wing, the alt-right found them and surfaced them 2 years ago. Now, a lot of the Democrats who are part of the Democratic machine go, hey, I like that right-wing tactic, let me resurface that.
A lot of progressives, they have zero appetite for a man saying anything about women being inherently inferior.
As well they should, because that is totally wrong. The question isn't whether I said that. The question is, did I disavow it? And did I disavow it now that I'm running for office? Hell no, 15 years ago. Chris, I've been on the air now 18 years with the Young Turks. And would anybody argue that I'm not progressive enough? No, I've fought for women's rights, minority rights, every kind of person you could find, I have fought for. That's why all of the top progressives back me. And it's because I've proven it. Would millions of progressives across the country, including millions of women, support me if I was that guy? No, they support me because I'm a firebrand on the side of the left, on the side of rights for all of those folks.
Questions will come. You'll have to address them. I hear your argument here. The audience does as well. The other big stick, the name of your show, The Young.
So first, before I get rid of the screen, just notice here this tagline right here. I just noticed this while watching it. I was like, take a look at this. Young Turks CEO responds to past controversial remarks. Young Turks CEO. Not wrong or anything, but like, come on, man. Like, he's running for office. That should be the tagline of what's going on. But I think, as all things considered, not the worst thing I've seen from not the worst thing I've seen from CNN. But notice how that and it pretty much goes on this way. That entire interview, Cenk isn't able to talk about the issues. He brings it up at the beginning, and then he brings them up at the end, because the whole time, the real discussion, which CNN and Cuomo wants to have, is look at his past remarks. Now, again, I do think because this is Cenk kind of, bringing him, his first kind of big mainstream media talk. Hey, look at what I'm doing for Congress and running for Congress. I think it's all right. I'm not like, oh my gosh, I'm mad at CNN. I'm mad at Cuomo for this. But it's clearly the way in which mainstream media frames it, and they're not turning around and saying, well, hold on, why is it the case that this other person who's running against you, why is it the case that they're taking bribes, they're taking money, and, Cenk is out here talking about, I mean, these are the things which people really care about. And the fact that, they're really more focused on, hey, Cenk doesn't live in the district. Now, I want to be very clear here. The fact that Cenk doesn't live in the district, that's going to be a problem for him. And I think it should be, by the way. Hey, look, it looks like he's just taking advantage, like he just wanted to run for Congress, and, this seat opened up, and so he decided to run for it, which is, like, to be fair, exactly what happened. But in this case, Cenk does live nearby. He lives near the district, right outside of it. I think he does understand the issues for the voters. And I want to ask you, who's the real carpetbagger, right? Like who's the real carpetbagger? The person who, is cozy with the corporation, who has all the backing of the DNC, who's willing to give tax cuts, tax breaks in order to, have these big corporations come in and screw over the workers in the district, or is the real carpetbagger the person who, just happens to live nearby but wants to fight for you anyway? And I think that's the issue, or the point which Cenk really wanted to bring up, but which Cuomo won't let him bring up, or maybe not necessarily Cuomo, but which he's not able to bring up because he's so busy talking about all these other issues. Do I want to see Cenk in Congress? Yes, I think it would be amazing. I mean, did you just see that video? He's clearly a firebrand, right? He is clearly going to fight for left-wing progressive issues. But I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not too bullish on it. I think he might do well in the primary. And I do think that if he wins the primary, he has a real shot. But let's keep it real. The whole DNC is against him, right? I mean, I've already seen all kinds of criticism that they're making, bringing up all these past remarks from, 15, 16, 19 years ago, right? Which Cenk has avowed for more, or disavowed for more than a decade. So there's a lot of criticism which they're making against him, and they have the whole corporate DNC machine to run against him. And Cenk is, I mean, he's loud. I'll keep it real. I've been watching Cenk since I was in middle school, right? And which was why I got so excited when I heard that he was running. I've been watching this guy for a long time, but let's keep it real. He's loud, and not everybody likes that. I know we like to think in our, ideal world that everyone votes on policy, but that's just not how the real world is. A lot of people don't vote on policy. They see one or two clips of a person, or they might see him in person once. That, hey, well, he shook my hand nicely, so I'm voting for that guy. I mean, that's just how it is. And Cenk's loud, and not everybody likes loud. So can Cenk win? I think yes, he can win. It's going to be tough. I hope to God he does. And I'd love to see an endorsement, by the way. I'd love to see an endorsement from AOC or Bernie. He already has the endorsement of Ro Khanna, so it is possible that he could get an endorsement from AOC, because I'll keep it real. At first, I wasn't so sure that AOC was going to endorse because of those past comments, right? Those past comments are also bad because he might not get endorsements from important progressives like Bernie, AOC, or anyone else in the squad, Ilhan Omar, et cetera, because they might not want to associate themselves with someone who had made those comments, because that could be a frequent line of attack. But the fact that Ro Khanna came out first thing and endorsed Cenk, I think is a good sign, personally. First thing, Ro Khanna was like, Ro Khanna, I saw this on Twitter before he even officially announced, when it had just leaked that he might be running. Ro Khanna was like, oh shoot, man, like, if this is real, I'm backing you. And then as soon as it was announced, Ro Khanna came out and endorsed. And Ro Khanna, clearly having worked with Cenk because of Justice Democrats, and with the whole Justice Democrat scandal where Cenk had to step down, Ro Khanna was aware of those comments and so didn't think that those comments were going to be too damaging. So I do think that because of that, there is a chance that, hey, look, maybe AOC or Bernie or other progressives will come out and endorse him, because that's going to be really important. Keeping it real, like, I like to be one who says, well, endorsements don't matter because, and I think that that is the case for a lot of politicians. Like some of the local people endorsing you isn't really all that important, because I mean, voter turnout for some of those local elections aren't that high. A lot of people don't even know their state representative, um, which is sad, but keep it real, they don't. So a lot of those kinds of endorsements aren't too important. And in general, people are going to make up their own mind. But a name like AOC, I think that the role that endorsements have isn't necessarily, to say, hey, oh, that person supports them, let me support that person. I think that's only the case if you're already a hardcore fan of that person who is making the endorsement. But I think that it does matter for a kind of star power, which AOC might have, or Bernie, or someone else in the squad, because yes, it is true. Someone might be like, well, I like AOC, so I guess I like Cenk. But imagine the press coverage which is going to go to Cenk's race if Cenk gets a big name endorsement. Um, and so I do think that that is going to be important for Cenk's race, and I hope he can get those kinds of endorsements. As far as funding goes, Cenk's doing pretty well. He had a 200,000. I remember he had a $2,000 starting goal for his race in the first 48 hours, and he absolutely crushed it. I think he beat that in shorter than 24 hours. I don't think he's cracked 400,000 yet, which was his second goal. But uh, he's doing really well, and as far as fundraising goes, he's definitely outpacing some of those big corporate donors, which are coming into his opponents. So I'm really optimistic, and I'm very interested in the race. I'm optimistic because I do think Cenk's going to do better than a lot of the corporatists think, but I'm going to be honest. I'm nervous for Cenk, and I'm definitely donating. I hope you donate as well for Cenk, because he's definitely going to need it.